Hello, you beautiful human beings, and maybe pets if you have this on autoplay for them, but I'm hoping that you're actually here because I am here with a really exciting video for you. I get asked about this all the time from the clients that I work with, from you guys watching these videos, and that is how to ask for help when you're a teenager. Oftentimes I'm met with, why bother? They're gonna say no anyway. I'm just gonna wait until I'm 18. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to wait to ask for help until you're 18. This strategy, it's called Dear Man. It comes from a therapy model called Dialectical Behavior Therapy, or DBT for short. And basically what this strategy does is it helps to amplify the effectiveness of asking for and potentially getting what you want. Now, this is not a 100% guarantee, so I want you to just take a moment and manage your expectations. So you want to make sure that what you're asking for and who you're asking for it from is reasonable. So for example, if I'm wanting to sleep over for a weekend at my friend's house, but every time that I've gone over there, I've managed to get into trouble, it's probably unlikely that your parents are just going to automatically say, yeah, no problem, free pass. You want to make sure that you are building up trustworthiness by matching your behaviors to the words that you're saying. The other thing to consider is that you might want to break this into bite-sized pieces. I often talk about how building trustworthiness or intimacy in a friendship or relationship of any capacity is kind of like climbing a ladder. In order to get to the top of that ladder, whether you're trying to get to the second floor or like to a high shelf or yada yada, you have to take it one step at a time. You might be able to take it 2 steps at a time, potentially 3 steps if you have really long limbs, but most of us are meant to take ladders 1 step at a time to reach our final destination. It takes a little more time and effort to build that stamina and increase your height on the ladder. It's really easy to slip and fall, and then you've got to rebuild again. Breaking your request into bite-sized pieces might make a little more sense rather than going for the big kahuna right from the get-go. The third thing that you want to remember is to write it out. Y'all know I'm all about being clear. Clear is kind. If you're not clear on what it is that you're asking for or what it is that you want the outcome to be, it's going to be really difficult to speak and articulate that. Also, when you write it out, sometimes you can actually write it in letter form and physically give it to the person that you're asking this request from, whether it's like an actual pen and paper letter or you're typing an email. That can be useful so that if they're caught off guard and perhaps they're having an emotional reaction at first, they can take that letter or that email or that text message or whatever and reflect on it later when they're not as in an intense emotional state of mind. So they can actually view it a little more clear-headed. And of course, you want to make sure stay prepared with those coping skills. This can be a really anxiety-provoking situation for you doing the asking, but also the person that you are asking something from. So you want to make sure that you're in a well enough regulated state before, during, and after this conversation. That way, if you do start to feel yourself becoming physically or emotionally dysregulated or overwhelmed or what we call flooded, you have some coping strategies to pull yourself back in and get back down to a more manageable level. Now, you don't want to necessarily use your coping skills to entirely turn off your emotional experience. Emotions are great. We need them to emphasize and help other people understand us and the importance of what it is that we're trying to communicate. But you do need them to be manageable. You don't want to be all emotion coming at you. And don't forget that you can absolutely take a break if you need to. There's nothing that says that you have to continue and have the full conversation in one go. If it's not going well, abort. Get out of there, retreat, come back another time. There's nothing to say that you have to pursue and push forward. It's a very good thing to pause and take a break and regroup and come back at a later time when it's convenient and good for both of you. And then if it is still a no after you use this strategy, keep in mind that it probably was always going to be a no, and you might have to go back to that first point and just manage your expectations. So let's get into the strategy. So the dear part of Dear Man, or the DEAR part, is all about what you're going to say when you're making this request of somebody. And the man part, or the MAN, is all about how you're going to ask this of the person. So keep in mind that you can use a strategy for a multitude of requests and situations. You can use it to say no. You can use it to ask your crush out on a date. You can use it to ask your teachers for help. You can use it to ask your parents for therapy. The list goes on and on and on. So I highly recommend, as we go over this, that you jot some notes down, because you're probably going to want to follow along with this video. And if you need to, pause and rewind and come back, that's okay too. Okay, so the D stands for describe the situation. So a lot of people want to give a total background and a lot of factual information here. Facts are good, but you just want to be short, sweet, and to the point. What is the actual situation? You want to set the scene for what it is that you're about to ask for. You want to be clear, you want to be direct, you want to be kind. E stands for expressing your thoughts and opinions. This is where you start to share your own experience, and I highly recommend that you talk from an I perspective, not a you perspective. So talk about how you as an individual, or an I, are experiences the situation. How is it impacting the way you think, the way you feel, your desires, all of that. This is also an excellent time to use those I feel statements. So I feel the emotion when the situation or the behavioral description, because I think. What is the meaning or interpretation that you're putting on that situation that's making you feel that way about it? This gives a little more context and information about why this request is important to you. A is pretty simple and straightforward. You gotta ask for it. You've gotta ask for the help. You've gotta say the no. You've gotta put that request out there. Just, again, clear, direct, kind. And then R stands for rewarding the other person. Oftentimes, if we don't really know what's in it for us, we're not as apt to oblige to a request. This is the part where I see a lot of teenagers struggle and get this wrong, because this is the part where they are thinking from their own perspective about what would convince them to say yes to themselves. They've already managed that. You already know what it is that you want and what you want from the other person and why it would benefit you. Now you've got to think about it from the other person's perspective about why would them going out of their way to give you what you're asking for, this help that you're asking for, how does it benefit them? If you can see from their perspective about how it's a win-win for both of you, they're more likely to give you what you're asking for. Okay, so man, if you remember, is all about how to ask for this. So M stands for saying mindful. You want to be aware, is this a good time for you? Is this a good time for them? Prepare with those coping strategies like we talked about. You want to make sure that you're in a good, regulated state of mind and physical status and emotional state. So use those coping skills and those coping strategies. I've got a ton of videos on a ton of coping strategies for a lot of emotional experiences and situations. So definitely go ahead and check those out if you need some encouragement. I'm also in the process, as you know, of upgrading the coping skills crash course, which does a huge deep dive into a ton of coping skills and strategies. So if that's something that you are interested in learning more about, or want to boost in your coping skills, or maybe just a revamping of it, definitely go ahead and click the link in the description so that you can learn more about how to sign up for that program. A stands for appearing confident. If you are showing up with poor eye contact, poor body posture, kind of unsure of yourself, it's going to be hard for people to take your request seriously, even if it's really important to you. Now, I get it as a therapist who works with people who are shy, introverted, potentially depressed or anxious. It can make it really difficult to appear confident when something is important to you. So maybe practicing a little bit, either in your head, we call that scripting, or practicing talking to yourself in the mirror, something that just kind of gets you in the zone for that. And if that's still really difficult, put it in a letter. And then N is really one of the most important parts of this, and that is being willing to negotiate. So of course, you want an absolute 100% yes, I will give you exactly what you're asking for, but maybe they're not in a position where they have the time, resources, or energy to say yes 100%. So being willing to stay open and flexible to other options and maybe have a few other options as backup to propose at this point is going to be really useful and helpful to you as well. Remember how we talked about breaking this into bite-sized pieces? The other thing to consider is that you might want to break this into bite-sized pieces. This might be a situation where, okay, like you might not be able to get everything that you're asking for, but maybe you can take a step towards getting everything that you're asking for. And if you're really getting stuck or at this like standpoint where they're saying, no, I can't do that, and you're like, please, I need you to, perhaps doing the strategy called turning the other tables can work here. And that is where you literally like sit back, you observe the situation. So you go back to describe again and you say, you know, I'm really wanting this from you. You're telling me that you can't do that. Like, what should we do here? And asking them what their thoughts are about what a happy medium might be for the two of you. The year is 2022. You have spent the last 3 years in a worldwide pandemic and you are ready to ask your crush out for a date. But before you do that, I want you to play a little game with me. Go ahead and close your eyes, and I want you to imagine your crush is right in front of you. And I want you to envision and imagine that you are asking them out and that they're saying yes. How do you feel? Where in your body do you notice that? Are you feeling nervous, excitement, scared, happy? What is going on for you? As y'all know, anxiety is just letting you know that something new or different or potentially dangerous is about to happen. So you just want to proceed with caution. And when it comes to confessing your feelings to somebody and asking them out on a date, that's probably one of the most anxiety-provoking, vulnerable experiences that you can put out there. So it makes total sense if you're feeling nervous. But in order to get to that status where they are saying yes, they want to go on a date with you and potentially even develop a relationship with you, somebody's got to make the first move. So why not make it you? In this video today, I'm going to walk you through a therapy strategy called Dear Man. It's all about how to effectively ask for what you want. Now, just a reminder, this is not a 100% guarantee. If you want more of a breakdown on Dear Man, you can check that out in my previous video. But in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to use this strategy to ask your crush out for a date. So if you guys remember, dear is all about what you say and man is about how you say it. So we're going to back up for a moment and we're actually going to do this in reverse. Usually I go over dear first and then man, but in this video we're going to start with man first. So staying mindful, you want to make sure that this is a good time for you and for the other person to have this conversation. If you have never had a conversation with them in the middle of lunch, going up to them in the middle of the lunchroom with everybody looking at you is probably going to make you more nervous. So that might not be the ideal situation. Instead, another way that you could do that is to perhaps message them on social media if you have their information, or if you don't, in person when you see them, ask if they can talk to you separately and let them know that like you're not mad at them, they're not in trouble, you just had a question for them. The other thing to keep in mind with this is you want to use your coping skills. Y'all know I love those coping strategies. They're all about helping you hang in there through an intense, uncomfortable emotional experience so that you can then get through to a more manageable level. So by staying level, by using your coping strategies before, during, and after this conversation is going to really help to re-regulate all those emotions that are going through you. Remember we talked about how you might be feeling a little excited, a little nervous, a little anxious. That's because excitement and nervousness actually light up the same area of the brain. So your brain is getting mixed signals a little bit with this because it's not really sure how to feel about it yet until you get a response. So go ahead and plan ahead with those coping strategies. If you you are wanting more of a deeper dive into coping skills, I have a ton of videos on them, but you can also sign up for the coping skills crash course when you click the link in the description. It is getting a major upgrade right now. In fact, when I am filming this video, I'm going to be filming some new videos for that program too, so you might see me in the same outfit. Definitely check it out if that's something that you're interested in. You want to appear confident, so practice what you want to say. Watching this video is going to help build your self-esteem and confidence in having this conversation and putting out that request, because you're going to be prepared. When we can practice and potentially even like write out what it is that we want to say and plan it out ahead of time, our brain thinks that we've already had that conversation, so it's nothing new or unfamiliar. The fact that you've already practiced it tells your brain like, oh, we've already been here, we've already done this before, so we don't have to sound the alarm on anxiety that loud anymore. Try it out, practice it, write it down. You can even bring it with you to the conversation or have it ready to go in your notes app. That way you can just copy and paste it if you're going to be doing this on social media or in a direct text message. And then in terms of negotiating, when it comes to asking for a date, there's not really too much room for negotiation here, but you just want to make sure that maybe they can't go on a date with you this week, but next week is better. So it might be worth offering like 1 or 2 activities or times or dates that might work for you. And if they say no to those, you can then potentially, based on your own comfort here, ask them if another day or another activity might be good for them, or if they just don't want to date you in general, which I know can feel like, oh, knife to the heart, but at least you will have your answer, and then you can release, heal, and let go, and get ready to ask your next crush out, because there will always be a next crush, trust me. So let's get into how to actually ask them out. So this is what you're going to say. You're going to describe the situation. You're going to express your thoughts and opinions. You're going to ask for it, and then you're going to reward the other person. In each of those areas, I want you to just draw a line down particular to your situation. I'm going to walk through a made-up scenario. This is not specific to anybody in particular or any situation in particular, though it's probably going to feel very familiar because I think we've all been here at some point in our lives, or most of us, and if not, it will come. To describe the situation, you might want to say,
"You and I have been friends for a while and I really enjoy hanging out with you."
Beautiful. You've already described that you guys have been friends for a while, and you've already kind of delved into express a little bit about how you feel about being friends with them. Next up, you want to express your thoughts and opinions. And if you remember, this is your chance and opportunity to speak from an I perspective using those I feel statements to let the other person know how this situation is leading to your request. So how does being good friends with somebody and enjoying spending time with them lead to you wanting to ask them out on a date? This will also help them understand and potentially get to that same conclusion too. So for this section, you might want to say,
"I feel really good and close with you when we spend time together, and I think we would be a really great romantic match."
Then you've got to ask for it. Remember, clear is kind. Be clear, be direct, be kind. If you are ambiguous or a little loosey-goosey here, it leaves it way open for misinterpretation. Maybe they're thinking that somebody else wants to ask them out on a date and it's not you. Or maybe they're thinking you're just having a theoretical conversation. So you want to be very clear that I am asking you on a date with me. Got it? I might not say it exactly like that. That might be a little aggressive, maybe a little too direct. A different way of asking that would be,
"Would you like to get pizza with me on Friday night?"
clear, kind, direct. You might also need to clarify this would be a date. So quick little side story about why it's so important to be clear that you're asking them out on a date and not just a usual friendship hang. When I was in college, I worked with a group of people who were similar in age to me, and so we would always all hang out in a big group together. One of the times, one of the individuals in this group asked me to go to a movie, which wasn't really unusual for this friend group. We've all gone out to the movies together as a big group many times. What was different about this is this individual asked me if I wanted to see a particular movie on a particular night. So that part was clear, that part was direct. I then double checked with another of our friends in that group to see if they wanted to carpool. Well, really, I wanted them to drive me because I didn't want to drive that night. And they said,
I have no idea what you're talking about. I think they're asking you out on a date.
and I said, oh no, I don't think so. I said, that's weird that they didn't invite you. I said, I don't know what's going on. And so they just kind of let it go. So my friend did end up picking me up, the friend who asked me to the movies. And I didn't realize until the end of the movie when we went out to eat afterwards that it was a date. I was thrilled about it being a date, by the way. This is somebody who I definitely had a crush on at the time, but they were not clear or direct in that their asking me out was for a date and not just a usual friendship hangout. So when you are asking your crush out, make sure that they understand and know that it's a date too, so you don't have some weird awkwardness like, oh, we're on a date right now. Okay, and then R is rewarding the other person. Now, of course, we all know that anybody who would accept a date with you is already a lucky individual. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a date with you, right? But you've gotta make your case about why potentially going on a date with you and spending time to consider dating you would make sense for this person. So something simple that you can say here is,
I think it would be really nice if we at least try one date and see where it goes. We can take it slow. There's no pressure. And if for some reason it feels weird or awkward, I'm totally open to being friends with you too.
now again, don't say anything that you don't mean. If you don't actually mean that you would want to stay friends with somebody, it would be too hurtful or painful, don't say that. Be clear, be direct, be kind. I don't know if I've said that before, but I'm just gonna say it one more time. Be clear, direct, kind. What if it doesn't work? It's totally possible that you have laid out your best case, you have described the situation, you have stayed mindful, you have appeared confident, you have expressed your thoughts and opinions, you have asked for it, you have been willing to negotiate, and you have offered a reward to the other person. It's still possible that they may say no. It may have nothing to do with you. Perhaps they've already expressed interest or have feelings for another individual. It may be that they really aren't willing to risk your friendship at this time. It could be totally new information and they might need time to kind of process what you've just told them. All of that is fine. And if you are struggling with that, I really recommend that you delve into how to be alone. Maybe indulge in some really nice self-care. There's nothing wrong with being single. There's nothing wrong with being rejected. You did an awesome thing by putting yourself out there, and now you know the outcome. You don't have to stress about worrying what if or what if not. You already know. That's good information for you. And then you can start the healing process so that you can get ready for your next big love. Hello and welcome back. You are one smart cookie to be here, because if you are struggling in school, it is so important to know how to ask your teachers for help. I'm so glad that you are watching this video. My name is Mallory Grimste. I'm a mental health therapist, and while I don't necessarily work in the schools in particular, it goes hand in hand often that when we are struggling with our mental health, sometimes problems with that can pop up in our school struggles as well. So one of the things that I help a ton of teenagers with is how to ask for help. And to do that, I often recommend using the strategy Dear Man. It comes from Dialectical Behavior Therapy, which is one of my favorite therapy models to use with teenagers for a variety of reasons. It's all about asking for what you want more effectively. Now, again, this is not a 100% guarantee. If it's a no, it probably is always going to be a no. A few videos back, I did a deeper dive into the different components of Dear Man, so I'm not going to go into that in this video, but you can definitely go back and check that out. So instead, I'm going to walk you through how to use the Dear Man strategy to ask your teachers for help in school. Dear, if you remember, is all about what to say, and man is how you say it. So again, we're going to work backwards a little bit on this one, and we're going to go back to the man part. So you want to make sure that you are prepared. You want to stay mindful. Is this a good time for you? Is this a good time for your teacher? Probably in the middle of a test is not the time to ask your teacher for an extension. If you know that something is coming up ahead of time, reaching out to your teacher before it happens is going to be way more impactful and helpful for them too. They'll have a little more time to help you plan and prepare and potentially adjust what needs to happen. Sometimes another thing to keep in mind is that it's not always the teacher's decision on how things go. So they might need some time to ask a request from their department head or the school principal to make sure that they can give you what you need. And you already know you gotta use those coping skills. I am all about using them to plan ahead before, during, and after you put your request out there. Because when you are asking somebody for help, it can feel really emotionally vulnerable. It can bring up all sorts of things, especially in our culture here in the United States of America. We tend to really value autonomy and independence, though the truth is that we do need interdependence and interrelationships as well as independence. So just something to keep in mind. So because of that, it's really important to have your coping strategies ready to go. Maybe some deep breathing, making sure that you have something to fidget with, whatever it is that you need to get through that conversation. And if you're wanting more ideas or strategies, definitely want to check out the Coping Skills Crash Course. It was originally a 2-hour workshop that I did back in 2020, and I'm in the middle of totally upgrading and revamping the lessons. There's going to be really cool worksheets and workbooks in there as well, so you can follow along and not have to create your own path, which is pretty cool. So if you want that, definitely go ahead and check it out. Click the link in the description. Appearing confident is the next thing that you want us to keep in mind. So practice, write it out. You watching this video is already going to help with that because you're going to have a game plan in place, and that will help you feel more confident in yourself and your requests to the teacher that you're asking for help with. And then being willing to negotiate. So remember when I said that sometimes it's not entirely the teacher's choice or decision. They might have to get permission from somebody first. Being willing to flex and negotiate with what the teacher can provide or do for you. Maybe they can't let you totally retake the test, but they can offer you some extra credit. Maybe they can't offer you some extra credit, but they can offer you a 2-day extension. Be flexible and be willing to work with them, and they will be willing to extend the same to you as well. All right, let's get into the actual strategy. So what do you say to ask for this? If you remember, DEAR, it stands for describing the situation, expressing your thoughts and opinions, asking for it, and rewarding the other person. So you're going to use these, and I would keep it to 1 to 2 lines in each section. You don't have to go all over with this. Honestly, less is more here because they can really focus on your requests. Let's say that the help that you're asking for is an extension for a project or a paper that's due in 2 days. You know that you have not been sleeping well, you've been dealing with a lot of family troubles, and it's really impacted your ability to concentrate and to get this assignment done and still take care of your self-care needs and mental health. Asking for an extension makes sense. So it's up to you if you want to share specifics about your situation. I tend to err on the side of need to know basis. Sometimes when we overshare with our teachers or our bosses or colleagues or whoever, boundaries can get crossed a little bit. So it's up to you if you think it would be useful and helpful for them to understand what's going on with you in terms of your home life or your mental health. That's quite all right. But I would err on the side of caution and keep it strictly to the situation at hand. So for this, to describe the situation, you might say,
I know that the end of quarter is coming up this week and that you have a project due on Friday. Lately, I've been having a really difficult time concentrating and being able to focus to get my work done.
That's perfect. It's direct, it's kind, it's clear, and you've offered some facts to support the situation. You can't argue that you've had a difficult time concentrating. You can't argue that the end of the quarter is coming up. You can't argue that this project is due and you both are aware of the due date. So a way that you could potentially express your thoughts and opinions on this is.
I find education really valuable and important. It feels really important to me that I get a good grade in your class, and I want to turn in quality work to you. However, because I've been so stressed out lately, I've had a hard time navigating how to manage my stress and keep up with my school assignments.
Then you want to go for the big kahunas and you want to ask for what it is that you're asking for. In this case, it's asking for an extension. You might want to, for this one, go back and acknowledge,
I know that this assignment is due on Friday. I'm wondering if you would consider or if you'd be able to allow me an extension. Can I turn it in on Monday for full credit?
Then you can reward the other person. Now remember, you want to think about it from the teacher's perspective. Why would allowing you as their student make sense to turn in work late and still get full credit when the rest of the students are having to turn it in on time? And please don't say, oh, it's because I'm a very likable student. I'm sure that you are, but that's probably not going to be a great case for this. When you think about it, like, why would, this teacher probably has set aside the weekend for grading these papers, and now they're going to have to wait to grade yours another few days. So what is in it for them to be able to do that? You might say,
this would give me enough time to turn in a really quality good project to you so that you know that I am taking in your lessons appropriately.
Teachers love a student that takes responsibility, and they love a student that wants to turn in good work. So if you can offer that and think about it from your teacher's perspective about what's in it for them to go out of their way to be flexible with you, that'll help in this situation as well. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mallory Grimste. I am a real-life mental health therapist. I love helping teens get connected to the help and care that they deserve, whether that is through guided self-help programs or getting them used to the idea that therapy doesn't have to be so scary. So I know, at least here in the United States of America, and particularly in Connecticut where I'm based, if you are in the under 18 crowd, maybe you have considered, hey, maybe I should work with a therapist, but you're gonna need your parents' permission. So how do you ask them for this help and get them to consider saying yes to you? I would love to introduce you to a strategy called Dear Man. It is something that we use in Dialectical Behavior Therapy to help you ask for what you need more effectively. Now, again, this is not a 100% guarantee. You could do potentially all the strategies absolutely 100% correct and clear, and the answer might still be no. Stay open, stay curious. It could be that your parents might need more time to process this information. It could be totally new to them. It may also be that they don't necessarily have the time, energy, or resources to dedicate to this request right now. It doesn't mean that it could be potentially a forever no, or maybe it really will be a forever no while you're a teenager. That doesn't mean that you can't make some efforts to improve your mental health now while you are waiting to become a certain age or a situation where you are more independent and autonomous and able to make these decisions for yourself. I will tell you, the teen years, they end for everybody, hopefully successfully, but once you enter into the next phase of life, you have a lot more legal choice and options. Now, of course, those have outcomes as well and consequences, but right now let's stay focused on why you even came to this video, which is how to ask your parents for therapy. I happen to really love group therapy, as y'all know. I have several teen growth therapy groups that I run out of my office for teens that are physically based in Connecticut and New York. That's because of licensing laws. That's not my choice. Take it up with the law. It's not me. I don't make the laws, but I do still gotta follow them. So group therapy is a little bit different than individual counseling, and so it might take a little bit more to ask your parents to consider group therapy as an option. So let's jump into how to use this strategy. The dear part of Dear Man is what you say, and the man part is how you say it. So let's start with the man part. You want to stay mindful of, is this a good time for you? Is this a good time for them? I happen to be somebody who gets very stressed out when I'm cooking. If somebody tries to have a conversation with me when I'm in the kitchen trying to make something, even if it's just boiling a pot of water, I get very emotionally dysregulated very easily. The people in my life know when Mallory's in the kitchen, just like let her be until she's got some food in her belly. Then you can talk. Or at least if you don't want Monster Mallory coming out. So if somebody were wanting to have a serious conversation with me, I already know that my stress level is going to be super high when I'm in the kitchen trying to make food. So I would recommend that they would wait until after, or let me know like, hey, after you're done in here, can we talk about something? Then I could say, yeah, no problem. Versus just kind of entering in the room and saying, so there's a situation I've been wanting to talk with you about. It's really been bothering me. Like I just don't have the emotional or focusing energy for that when I'm making food in the kitchen. Make sure that your parents are in a good state of mind where they can give you their full attention and focus as well. Maybe your parents are great at multitasking. I am not. And then you definitely want to appear confident. So you want to be very clear, direct, and kind in what it is that you're asking for with your parents. Like if you leave it open and you say, oh, I'd like help, or I'd like to work with a therapist, and you know that you want a certain kind of help or a certain type of therapist to work with, you've got to be clear in that request too, because maybe they link you up with somebody who does music therapy, which could be awesome and excellent, but that's not the kind of help that you were looking for. Definitely be clear in this and do a little research ahead of time, practice it, write it out. You watching this video right now is already great in terms of improving your self-esteem and asking for what you want and what you need. So you are doing an excellent job already. Make sure that you are making really good eye contact, making sure that your voice isn't shaky. If you need to grab a glass of water, use your coping skills, something to help re-regulate your physical responses while you were having this conversation, that's great too. So if you've been here a few weeks, you already know I'm doing some major upgrades to the coping skills crash course right now. This program is all about helping you learn the different coping skills that are available so that you can personalize them to your situation and your needs. In that program, we have a whole breakdown on the different types of coping skills and when and how to use them. And there's some really cool bonuses in there as well. Definitely want to sign up for that if you're wanting a deeper dive into how to use coping skills for your unique situation. Go ahead and click the link in the description if that's something that you're interested in. You definitely want to make sure to be willing to negotiate. Perhaps your parents can't afford a therapist right now for you, but they can save up and in a few weeks they can consider getting you a mental health therapist. Maybe they don't necessarily believe in mental health therapy as an option right now, but they do believe in consulting with another type of healer or helper. That's okay too. I will say I tend to be partial to mental health therapy because that's what I personally have found helpful. I've made a career out of it. I do these videos about it. But I will also tell you that there is value in a variety of different helpers. There are many paths to healing. Mental health therapy is not the only way, though it is a pretty great way. Okay, so let's get into what to say. Remember, for the dear part, you want to describe the situation. You want to express your thoughts and opinions. You want to ask for it, and you want to reward the other person. So definitely follow along with this. You'll probably want to personalize it to your situation, but let's walk through an example of how to ask for group therapy because you've been feeling really moody and irritable lately. I think most teenagers can relate to that, right? So to describe the situation, you want to literally say,
I'm sure you've noticed I've been a lot more moody and irritable lately.
most parents, if that's true, aren't going to disagree. Then you want to express your thoughts and opinions. This is an excellent opportunity to speak from an I perspective, use his I feel statements, and share your thoughts and opinions about the situation that is leading to this request. When your parents can understand why this is important to you and how you think that this could be helpful, it's more likely that they're going to say yes, or at least consider saying yes in the future. They might need more information too, so just keep that in mind. They might not be able to give a hard yes or no right now. So an example of expressing your thoughts and opinions on this is,
I feel really overwhelmed and out of control when I feel irritable and angry like this because I think I just don't know what to do.
then you want to ask for it. What is it that you're wanting to request of your parents? In this particular situation, a really simple way to ask for it is,
Can you sign me up for group therapy?
clear, direct, and kind. Then you want to make sure that you are rewarding the other person. Now, this is where I see people get this part wrong over and over again because they're trying to think about what information they would need to convince themselves to say yes to themselves. You've already done that. You already know what you want and you've already understood why that would be beneficial for yourself. Now you've got to think about it from the other person's perspective. So from your parents' point of view, why would them signing you up for group therapy be beneficial to them? I mean, they're going to have to put a lot of time, energy, financial commitment, potentially scheduling to make this happen for you. So why would they put that energy and effort out that in a way that's going to be beneficial to them? And it's got to be more than because they love you and you are their sweet, dear child. Of course they do. And of course they would probably move mountains for you, but that's not the situation here. So you've got to make it particular to the situation and not just this warm, fuzzy feeling. So when it comes to rewarding your parents in this situation, you want to think about how this would be beneficial and useful to them too. A simple way to think about potentially rewarding your parents is to say something like,
connecting with other kids who are going through similar situations as me would definitely help me feel less lonely and isolated, and it might actually help me feel better to learn from them, and then I can teach you guys the strategies that I learned too. And wouldn't that be cool if we could have a conversation without biting each other's heads off?
That's probably the big reward. If you're still struggling with how to ask for help as a teenager, I definitely recommend that you check the video on your screen right over here. But I really hope that you found this information useful and helpful, and thank you for watching.